Hi there, I'm Joey.
I'm Jacob.
And we are watching Star Trek for the first time. Last time on Star Trek, Dr. McCoy died, but then he didn't.
Yes.
I hate that I'm feeling this way about season 3. Like at this point, that I'm still only halfway through. Like, we're just gonna be jumping over the halfway point today. And it's just... Whew, man.
Yeah.
Today we're watching an episode called Elaan of Troyius. Of Troyius, that's it.
Elaan of Troyius?
Yes.
That should be interesting.
Yes. Yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll see. We're going to get into post-episode thoughts in a second. Be sure to join us then. We're about to watch Elaan of Troyius. We haven't watched a lot of great episodes of Star Trek recently, but of the most recent run of not great episodes, I think this was probably my favorite. It was just more fun to watch, but also I think has had some legitimately cool and interesting moments, while still being somewhat problematic in two really big regards.
Oh, definitely.
That said, though, before we get into it, I gotta say to the viewers, if you remember, it was a season 2 episode. I want to say it was Wolf in the Fold. We said at the beginning of that we had a bit of a mix-up when watching the episode.
We had a quite literal technical issue.
Yeah, so we put on the episode, and we watched the first scene, and we were like, huh, that's weird. It was this episode. We had watched the first scene of this episode before. The first thing that threw us off was Scotty's hair.
Yes.
It was all pushed back. I remember this was season 2, so different hair. Second thing, blue credits. Very different from season 2.
We were like, we had a thought, we're probably watching something wrong.
And the third thing, then the title came up, and it said Elaan of Troyius, and I was like, fuck it, okay, we're not watching the right episode, obviously. I'm pretty sure it was supposed to be Wolf in the Fold, but here we are now, we've actually seen it. Thankfully, you didn't remember the title of this one.
Total blank.
So that was pretty fun, though. I did check, though. It took you approximately 40 seconds into the episode to realize that we had seen this before.
And then again took Scotty's hair.
Yep, yeah, Scotty's hair, and then so on and so forth. But no, yeah, we'd only seen the first scene before. But what a weird first scene.
Yeah, we still don't get what the first scene is.
Yeah, it's just a weird thing, because it's your opening episode teaser, and it's like, it's usually ends with this big cliffhanger, or some big revelation that's going to drive the rest of the episode forward. It's just, a woman shows up, which I guess is a big revelation for Star Trek. A woman showing up.
Right, but we already knew, though, that, like, some variety of wedding party was coming on the ship.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. Whatever. So, okay. So the problematic shit. Let's get that out of the way.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
So first off, there's this weird idea of cultural assimilation. Of just trying to get this woman to become accustomed to the Troyan lifestyle. And it's got some implications.
It's got implications.
It's not just that, but then also at the end of the episode, the thing I was just hoping for, because there's this weird arc for Kirk throughout the episode where he understands what Elaan is feeling and he understands what she's going through, but also at the end he doesn't say, hey, it could have gone a couple ways. First off, he let the Klingon ship go, so he left the guy alive that the Klingons were working with, which all happened off screen.
Yeah.
So there's that. But he left the guy that was...
That's true. That guy's on that ship still.
Yeah. So I did love... That was one of my favorite parts of the episode, actually, was that her whole thing was that she was being forced into this arranged marriage, and the reason that the Enterprise is fighting the Klingons right now is because the guy that is in love with Elaan is working with the Klingons to try to like rescue her, sort of.
Essentially.
Yeah, and so and also the crystals on the planet, because the Klingons want that, so it works for both of them. But point being, he's on that ship. We never see him. It all happens off screen. It's really weird. But point being, Kirk lets that guy go at the end. So I'm like, ooh, okay, maybe a part of Kirk is just is gonna like get her to that ship and rescue her, or somehow like get her there. But there's not even that. He still forces her back to her onto Troyius and
what is essentially an arranged marriage for peace.
Yeah, and forces her into that arranged marriage. Doesn't even say that, hey, maybe someday you could be with that guy that I left alive for you. You know?
I think it's supposed to be that Kirk personally would not let this arrangement go through if like he had his own real say in the matter. But he's got like severance. He's got like 3 to 4 different levels of like people saying this has to happen.
Mm-hmm.
There's the planets at war, there's Federation Command.
Yeah.
Like, he's got so many levels of orders above him, he'd be breaking all of those orders.
Yeah, exactly.
Even though Kirk might personally disagree with how this needs to go down, this is the established setup.
And while it's a weird ending, and it doesn't really work on a social or political level, there is that interesting parallel between Elaan and Kirk as characters. That they are both... I mean, I guess Kirk isn't in the same position, obviously, but there's that idea that Kirk's dedication to Starfleet and the Enterprise is what keeps him from doing what he actually wants to do with his life.
Which is, I'm assuming, get married.
Yeah. So because Kirk falls in love all the time. Of course Kirk would go off and want to settle down and be with a woman at some point. I'm guessing.
Right.
It's Captain Kirk. He's
a ladies' man.
Yeah.
In universe, he's a ladies' man.
And he's played by William Shatner in the 60s. Come on. But yeah, it's weird. It's got some weird implications. But again, like you could get something really interesting out of it. And I feel like the episode doesn't fully
occasionally
itself to
they
that.
pull at that thread, but never long enough.
That's what I did like the last scene with Spock, that McCoy comes in with the cure to the I forget the name of the species, but the Elaan's tears.
Yeah. There's like a biochemical that hypnotizes men essentially.
Yeah, and so he came up with a cure for that, and Spock was like, "Oh, you don't need it." And McCoy's like, "Oh, what are you talking about?" And Spock is like, "Oh, Kirk has, he is already like." What
he compared it to an infection, so Spock's line went something along the lines of he was infected by the Enterprise long ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which I made a joke kind of similar to that before when watching the episode.
What a tragic character Kirk could be if he wasn't being written in 1968.
I know. Like,
Right?
I'd love to see a different version of Kirk written that way.
That said, though, I'm glad I brought up the year. That was a really great segue. This is the last episode of 1968.
Is it?
It is, yeah. Next time we begin the final year of Star Trek the Original Series with 1969, with only 11 episodes left.
Wow.
So yeah, it really does feel finally like we're coming like on the end, and I'm pretty excited. So
I'm very excited.
Mostly to be done with season 3.
Yeah, mostly for that.
But also we do have some plans for before we move on to our next Star Trek show. In between, we're going to be doing things that I don't want to talk about yet.
Yes.
But
let's save those.
But we have
things.
plans. There are 2 videos planned between this and our next Star Trek adventure, which I believe you said before is the animated series. Right?
If we haven't said it, we said it now.
We said it now. Next time, after we're done with TOS, we're doing TAS, Star Trek the Animated Series, which is only 22 episodes, and it's shorter than any single season of TOS altogether. So it should be pretty easy to get through.
Yeah.
So yeah, assuming it's not god awful.
Please don't let it be god awful. That is a distinct possibility.
Yeah. Well, I guess that about does it. Thank you all so much for watching. Until next time, this has been Joey Morgan.
Jacob.
Goodbye.